Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All educational videos channel. In today's video we are going to talk about what is Wick Editor and why we are going to use it in our workflow here on K4A. So I will leave the link in the comments below, but it's very easy to Google it. Just type Wick Editor and you will find it. And Wick Editor is free open source software, so it's an application program software which is a web application. That means it works online, so you don't have to install it, and it's free, so that means you don't have to pay anything to use it and make some content with it. What is the purpose of Wick Editor? Well, the Wick Editor can be used for creating games, animation, interactive stories, and everything you think about in those terms. So it's very similar to Scratch. We can see that they made it with Scratch in mind and Flash. Sorry, it's more similar to Flash because you can also make animations and graphics and code in it. So it's a visual environment for coding and making graphics and games all in one. So because Flash is not live anymore, Flash is not updated by Adobe. It was a great software, it still is, and it is used for 2D graphics and animations and games, but because it's out of work, it doesn't work anymore. Adobe community doesn't update it anymore, so people who made Wick Editor, they came up with the idea to make something similar which will fill that gap which was left after the Flash was pulled off the internet. So you can make games and animations which will be in HTML. So earlier you made it in Flash, and because Flash format is not welcome anymore on internet because it has flaws, it has some kind of security issues, now we have some other softwares which try to mimic it and to fill the gap between the Flash and to use the HTML and JavaScript and so on, and Wick Editor is one of those, and I like it, and it looks really promising, and long term it looks like it can work, but again it will be risky. We will talk about it later in some other video about what are the good sides and the bad sides of it, but so far let's just concentrate that it is a tool similar to Flash and Scratch, and it's made by some indie people, indie guys, which are doing it on their own in their free time, and they are we can see on, if we click on supporters, that they are supported by some kind of organizations like Mozilla and so on, and they are also supported by Patreon and so on, and you can learn more about this Wick Editor in if you click on learn and go to that tab, and you can see that they have some kind of I think around 10 to 15 YouTube videos to watch, tutorials, and they are basic, but they are very interesting and well done, and they have a few examples also on how to make some kind of games, interactive stuff and so on, basics, but they are important to learn step by step. So you can learn it there, and when you click on create, now let's first click on Wick Editor to see that on that tab you also have again some kind of similar examples and tutorials, updates and news. If you go into community, you have links to forum, which is updated, and people go there, and you have some kind of community projects which look like Scratch. They look a lot like Scratch projects, so that's one way to compare those two, but the most important thing is when you click on create, you will be transferred to Wick Editor and you can start working right away. So you will see right away which version you are using, and you click and work right away in browser. I'm using Firefox, you can use something else like Chrome or I don't know what, and you can start creating here like this, simple as that. You can create graphics, you can create animations here, and you can code like this. Code editor, and it's very similar to Flash. It looks like Flash and it feels a lot like Flash. There are some flaws and some things that which can be improved, but we will talk about it later. But so far I picked this tool just because of a few reasons. It can be next step after people who are using Scratch if people who are using Scratch, kids and so on, they want to learn more about real world coding. You can go to this application, because it uses JavaScript. That is the script which is used, that is the language of the internet. It is used in real world, so you will have to type it and learn the rules of it. That's one thing. And the other thing is that it's of course it's free and open source, so you don't have to pay it. But more important thing is that you can actually export some stuff, some projects out of this Wick Editor. That means you can, after you finish your animation, you can export this as HTML or something like that, or zip file, and you can post it on your personal website. So that means you don't have to be dependent on Scratch site alone, and more people can see your game, or you can it can look more professional and so on. And that's very important for game developers, for indie game developers, and for beginner game developers to put your games out there on real sites, and we will learn how to do it also. And I will use this Scratch editor to make probably first dress-up game. I already made that, to show that in some kind of tutorial, and then we will go step by step as long as this software exists and it's free. So far that's more than enough for this videos, and I hope I will see you next one. And I have to start and end my videos with this OBS Studio, with this OBS Studio at the beginning and at the end, because I'm having problem with my computer. So this way I'm sure I'm recording and stopping recording. That's it for this video, and thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you next one. Bye for now.